Alright, so we're going to check out every Michael Jordan dunk from the 97-98 season. 103 dunks, mixtape style, quick and to the point. As usual, commentary after. Enjoy.
Jordan and Michael.
Same play.
Door again.
Same play.
Brown trying to penetrate, and there's Michael Jordan. Fouls in the process.
Yeah, that was
Great pass to MJ. MJ, rocker step. Oh! MJ goes between them and takes it home. Michael in a foot race.
Yeah.
Inside MJ, and see, that's so perfect.
Lead in the ball game to do just that, and Michael Jordan flies. Here comes Jordan again.
Okay, still going on.
Michael, oh yeah! Jordan to the back in trouble.
4-on-1, and Randy Brown missed it, but MJ's right there. The
Players? Nope, just a regular dunk. Michael, look at this. Easy deposit.
Kicking out Jordan, here he comes into the air. Oh! To the inline he comes, goes by Mackin.
2-on-1 on Mullen. Here's Jordan.
Because he hadn't made shots.
Jordan.
So that Jordan's cheating at the other end. Rebounds, and here comes Superman.
You're right.
Yep.
Brown keeps it.
Jordan on the trail. Curry on him. Roddy Divac over to double team. Jordan gets by. Oh, laid that up. I don't know how he could get it through, and slams that one. And Jordan with a fake. Yeah. Oh, went right by Frank. Kowski knocked it away. Oh, yeah. MJ did it.
Defense. Michael way up. Yeah.
You're not shooting it.
Michael power.
Inside from Michael. He's got 40.
Got Michael. Loud. Oh, I thought it was gone. Out play. Michael Jordan.
MJ accelerates down the hole. Michael cuts through and gets it back.
Okay, don't get in there, Alan. Mike, you got one up there?
Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah.
So here comes Perry. Michael with
elevation.
Here's Rodman, backdoor cut. Hello.
Inside, outside, they go. And now Michael is free. Jordan, crossover. Into the lane for the slam. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Over the limit, Bulls ball on the side. Jordan to the basket.
oh, beautiful. MJ. Inside. MJ.
The slammer.
Vancouver just not getting back on defense, and MJ jams it again. Carries it.
Dishes to Michael.
And on the other side, Jordan gets free, and he steals. Jordan with the stop. And game, and the Bulls have to score in a hurry. Jordan gets two quick ones.
That's where it is. Scotty, no look.
Or back to Scott.
Oh!
Jay for the slam. Paul takes it inside just by Glenn Wright.
Go all the way. Oh, the Hawks were a little tired night. Backdoor alley-oop. And MJ jams it. Showtime.
Is open as well. Hey. Jordan.
Up over everybody. Jordan. Poster.
Michael inside.
Spinning in the lane.
Into Michael Jordan.
Hey, but Finley right with him. No, it's Michael.
Well, it's quickly. Kukoc, nice dish. Jordan for the jam.
And Michael Jordan stayed in the backcourt.
Oh, backdoor to Michael Jordan. And one of the wisest. Oh,
Finds MJ at the other end. Goes up on Steve Smith and dunks it.
He goes away from it. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
Right back at you in Chicago. Little mistime on the alley-oop.
Must be the best that Grant Hill can be. And
Michael Jordan got inside and comes top. Buckle up for Michael Jordan. Oh, what a play. Got 12, Burrell. Michael Jordan.
Michael, what a move.
wow.
Michael answers. Jordan.
Here's Jordan. Taken by Jordan. Here comes Michael. For MJ, catches and slams. Still in the middle. MJ right there for another slam.
Yes. Michael, a flying dunk.
Burrell, now Michael.
Basket and a foul.
Jordan from Rodman. Jordan to the baseline for the slide.
In here.
This is it right there.
Jordan goes.
Michael with the steal. And Chicago with the 3-on-0. Let Michael do it. Michael to the hole. One break. Too close behind. open, and Jordan is all alone, and he saunters in. Green, he overshoots a three, but Jordan grabs it and slams it. Shot. Now he will. Pippen to Michael, spins into the lane and slams it.
All right, so this first one in Phoenix, I like this one because it's not often that we saw Mike coming from the perimeter, take off with 2 feet and finish with 2 hands. That's not something that he usually would do. He would either take off 1 foot 1 hand, 2 feet 1 hand, or even 1 foot 2 hands. But 2 feet 2 hands isn't something we see that often. And then I just like this one because he kind of hung on the rim and swung on it a little bit. So that's why I like this one. And of course, we've got a classic 2-foot leaner dunk. This might have been his last full proper leaner dunk he ever had. I'm not 100%. I don't really. My memory is a little iffy on the Wizards years as far as some of the leaner dunks he might have had then. I really just remember that dunk he had on Jermaine O'Neal. But this is just a classic Jordan leaner dunk. Might have been the last one ever. So this has always been one of my nice ones. So this game, I don't know what, maybe I guess Mike ate his Wheaties or whatever, but he was definitely he had that bounce this game, because this is another dunk from this game that I pulled. But this dunk here, I made sure when I made the highlight clip or the footage that I took that original game footage and slowed it down so you could appreciate it, because when you see that he's running full speed and then takes off 2 feet, and you see how far he flies and at the height he reaches, because Ron Harper kind of threw the pass kind of high, he had to go get it, and Mike, even at that age, was still able to go and get it. So that's why I added in that slowed down portion for this one, so you could really appreciate the flight he took on this dunk. And now this is the same game as that last dunk, and this is just a classic Michael Jordan poster. Coming from the perimeter, shook dude up a little bit, just went straight down the lane, took off 1 foot, 1 hand. Big dog Glenn Robinson get on that poster. So this is just a classic poster dunk from Mike. All right, so this was another game. I guess Mike was feeling good again because he had a couple nice dunks this game. This one I like just because of the way he took off, but then he slammed it down early. He didn't go up to the peak and just kind of put it down. He kind of put it down with that extra little force, and then you saw when he landed, he had that extra bounce. I'm sure some of you out there, you don't just play basketball, but some of you out there, have been able to jump and dunk. So you know what it feels like when you go up and you jump and then you come down and you have that second bounce right back up. That's when you know you were feeling explosive. And this is the same game, and I had a video of this on the channel before I just recently deleted it. I'll probably put it back up. But this was a revenge dunk on Armin Gilliam, who the previous game in Milwaukee, which was actually the previous season, he had hit Mike with a forearm shiver to the back of the head. And of course, Mike, he doesn't forget anything. So this was a revenge dunk. And plus, it was just a nice dunk. He had Ray Allen on him. Just blew by him because the double was coming. Blew by him and caught Armand Gilliam sleeping and put him on that poster.
Gilliam with his first foul. It was a good one, though.
Not much needs to be said about this one. I know this is a standout dunk in Mike's career dunks, so I don't have to go too much into this one. You guys know what it is. To me, the most standout thing about it was, he was coming from the perimeter, but he hop stepped, so he kind of lost some of that forward momentum, and he really just out jumped Ostertag just straight up off the hop step. And Mike was feeling it because he had that. I don't ever recall Mike having jumping up and down after a dunk like that. It's not really a thing we would see that often. So he was definitely feeling it. They're probably talking some trash out there too. And it was a finals rematch, and it was a finals preview. So Mike was definitely out there competing. Now this one I think is really impressive, not only because he caught Shawn Kemp. For those of you that may not recognize, that is Shawn Kemp. He did get traded to Cleveland after he was out of Seattle. It's oddly enough a couple years after they had went to the finals. But anyway, it wasn't just because he caught Shawn Kemp, but he cut to the basket and he just took that one dribble and kind of took like a mini hop step. And same thing with Ostertag, just out jumped him, 2 feet, one hand slam. So this one always stood out to me. Even back when it happened, I remembered this one.
That's what it looks like in Sports Illustrated.
All right, now this one, it's not necessarily the dunk. A lot of it has to do with the moment. This was his last game in New York playing for the Bulls. Last game at the Garden for the Bulls. He pulled out the OG ones. So this is a special game. But it was still a nice dunk, coming. This was you see it's 13 seconds on the clock at the start of the play. So this was the end of the first half, I believe. So he hits your boy with the spin move, goes in. I mean, I guess you can call it a simple dunk, but a lot of it was the moment and just the game he had that game. It was a classic. Like Mike, I was able to recognize the moment. So last game in New York, he pulled out the special shoes and was still able to have a special game. All right, so this one was significant to me, not only because it's a poster dunk, but if you guys don't know who that is, that's Brian Williams, and he actually played on the Bulls team the season prior. The Bulls had some injuries towards the end of the season. I know Tony Kukoc was out and Dennis Rodman was out, so they had picked him up, and he hadn't played all season. So he had won a ring with the Bulls the season prior, and then the next season he gets put on a poster from Mike. But this is like just a classic, in your face, I'm going to out jump you poster dunk from Mike. So I like this one. And this is another one. Coming from the perimeter, gives Hakeem the cross up, and then you see that just like that one in Milwaukee, that first one I showed from Milwaukee, where he goes up 2 feet, one hand, throws it down quick, and then he said he was feeling it because he had that second bounce. When he hit the ground, he had that second bounce. So between the crossover on Hakeem and then that poke and then the bounce, I like this one. All right, so now we're into the playoffs. So all these dunks here on out are going to be playoff dunks. Now this one not only was a nice dunk because he caught Kendall Gill. So, I mean, at any point if this is any point in my career, any game, it would have been a nice dunk. But then it's first game of the playoffs, overtime, tie game, less than a minute left, and you're on defense. So it actually starts with a defensive play. Mike steals the ball and then takes it down court, dunks on Kendall Gill. And he's wearing the playoff 13, is my favorite Jordan. So this is always one of my favorite dunks.
A good defensive play by Scottie Pippen on Chris Gatling to force him to pass the ball out.
And this one I like because if you see, he picked up the ball was kind of loose, and he just kind of picked it up, swung through, and drove to the basket. And then he took off of 2 feet, but it wasn't like a linear 2 feet where he's like sideways. It was like a more straightforward, and then he just puts it in that mitt and just throws it down. So and then this was a pivotal moment in the game as well, towards the late part of the game. So this one always stood out to me from that season. And we have another dunk from the Indiana series. This was Game 5, which it was a blowout. So part of it was part of the moment because when you're rooting for a team, they're at home and they're blowing their opposition out. And this is it was a 2-2 series, so it was a pivotal Game 5. They needed to win this game, and they didn't win a game in Indiana, so they definitely needed to win this game. And then he goes up, huge slam off the behind the back pass from Kukoc, gets the and one. I think because I used to watch the 6 championship video a lot way back in the day, like on VHS, and this was like I guess the moment with the music and everything. It made this seem like a really monster dunk. And the actual game angle, I don't want to downplay it, but it's not as big as it made it to be in the video. But because I'd seen it so much, this was always one of my favorites. All right, and last but certainly not least, this was definitely a pivotal dunk because this is the same series, Game 7, and this is, if you remember that game, Indiana came out hot and was leading for most of the game. And it was a late run that Chicago took to take the lead. I believe it was a Steve Kerr 3 that actually took the lead. But this was a part of that run that they were on to kind of get back into the game. And it was just one of those, Mike picked this spot and saw the opening and just went straight to the basket and threw it down on and he caught Rick Smits, I believe. And this was a pivotal dunk. So it wasn't the dunk itself, but a lot of it had to do with the moment with this dunk. Alright, so that's going to be it for this one. Were there any dunks that I didn't talk about that stood out to you? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching the video. Peace.
I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Break.